Hello guys, Lol Coach JP here. So today I want to review 14.23 patch. So the new Arcane TFT season is out, and the notable thing is this is not a very big patch, but there are interesting changes to watch out for. Now one of the main one is griefing in Champion Select, which is more reportable. We highlighted this in August devlog, but anti-griefing reports are still underway, and we are expanding that in this patch. What's in our sight now is lobby hostage taking in Champion Select. This means demonstrating intent to sabotage your teammates, whether it be forcing a hostile role swap or threatening other players in the lobby in any way. Starting with patch 14.23, offenders participating in these behaviors will find themselves taking a break from League for a bit. As always, it's important to recognize that we are not and will not penalizing off-meta decisions. The key here is distinguishing intent while differentiating between the two can often be difficult. We will continue to improve our automation efforts. Yeah, this cannot be done quite automatically because otherwise it can be misjudged. You can help by using report function judiciously. Okay, so I think this more often happens in low elo. At least like for me, it happened more so when I was like low elo back in the time. It perma happened, but I think this more so applies to lower ranks. I would say like in higher ranks, bullshit like this probably happens like when people want to force a dodge. I would say like 9 out of, no, I mean 1 out of 10 times, maybe like 1.5 out of 10 times. So for those annoying times, I would say it will be useful, but I think this is really good in low elo, where people are way more likely inclined to troll, in my opinion. I think probably that's how it goes in lower ranks. But I would say for rare cases, this will be still very, very good in higher ranks. Abessa 0.4 seconds extra timing on her Q. Passive Drake Hound Step Dash is no longer go over player created terrain, so it means she doesn't hard counter Yorick. Because the issue is with Ambessa, if Yorick Cage is. The issue is she already has dashes to dodge the Yorick, obviously, like the Yorick E. And then if she dashes out of his wall, that sucks dick, so then it's like very difficult to hit Yori. The notable thing is if when Yorick casts his W, you still may dash out of it if you time your dash well, but what's very important to watch out for is that, like, look, basically she also like has a 0.5 seconds extra timing on her Q window, which means that she's a little bit better at zoning, a little bit better at poking because of the uptime zoning people of CS. Our public execution movement commands issued before a successful cast will be discarded after slamming the enemy to avoid patting the player towards a place they are no longer okay. Aurora spirits no longer grant bonus movement speed, so the annoying hit and run style is sort of nerfed. 1 second less cooldown on her Q, a bit more pokes, a little bit more range, cast and recast damage, so the damage is a little bit higher flat damage wise, but scaling wise it's actually like the same as bit more damage. Now automatic recast if the duration runs out when Aurora is recasting the spell. She can recast it to end early. So the good thing is if you get CC'd by chance or if you forget to recast, I think this will recast itself. So I think this is seen to be a good thing if you are silenced. But I think this lasts long enough for you to like recast it most of the time. So it's like in this situation it's useful if you get maybe chain CC'd probably. Yeah, I have literally a sec nearby me where I can spit. now grants 20% speed up to 40% on cast. I don't know for how many, for 2.5 or 4 seconds, so still gonna get speed, but it's more so conditioned to her W, so at least you have to give up your W to get the mobility, which just helps into the annoying hit and run style, the weirding, a little bit more range, so you can poke a little more often, more easily, and so the more important thing is between wards does get an extra 1 second, between wards no longer traps enemies inside, it will slow them for 75%, for 1.5 or 1.70 seconds upon existing. What? If they exit? What? Now grants the same amount of move speed granted by W instead of amplifying. So there is still some mobility she has, but not on her passive. A bit more range, a bit less. It doesn't trap Soror, but it does slow. But only if they're exiting. So what if they don't exit, then they don't get slowed? But it does last more. So like it's kind of like an Irelia in a way. Like if they walk through Irelia, then they're gonna get slowed. Um, they should be better though. Extra ranges, bit more damage, bit less cooldown. No speed though. Roar doesn't traps, but it slows immensely, so it does allow you to connect your abilities, but it doesn't traps people. I would say like people that are able to get out of her, like if people dash out of or blink out of her or or flash, like I think that means that they still get slowed, right? They still get slowed. So if that happens, I think and again some champs this is more useful. I'm not 100%. It wasn't like a Camilla trap, right? It was more like a Jarvan or one when people got trapped. So it's like you could still dash out of it, flash out of it, right? Blink maybe, no? So I think against certain champs this is better, against some it's worse. But I think these are a bit interesting. Especially now because you get to dash more in your ultimate in and out, so with that 1 second. So I'd say these are generally seen to be good buffs, I would say. Good changes, more so solo queue oriented maybe. 5% extra damage, just a little more damage, a little better scaling, but there's not a lot to say. 50 less bonus AD ratio on her R. She's performing well with her builds, especially now that one of her items did also get nerf collector. She's gonna be a bit worse, but there is also Yuntal for her DPS, so I think people will build Yuntal, so it's kinda like that. Now damn. Alright guys, so basically like Jinx does get an AD growth, and basically like another thing about this Caitlyn change is she gonna find less lethal windows, a bit worse scaling, right? But Lethality Jinx, people hate that from Riot Games, so they buff her base AD, nerf her WAD ratio. It's basically Yuntal Jinx with AD ratio buff. I mean, I think she's gonna be kind of OP this patch. Doesn't really matter a lot, this double nerf, honestly. Kha'Zix, this does matter quite a lot. So for less armor, which does matter a bit because his general like camp clear gonna be a bit less healthy because he only has like really healing from his W durability wise, so it means he's a bit more invadable, he's worse at skirmishes, his W evolution is less annoying because the issue with Kha'Zix is W, if you have enough cooldown he's way too sticky, or B scenario, like if you play a melee champ, it feels like you cannot gap close into the enemy team because of his W, and it also allows mages to connect their ability really easily into you. So it's kind of like, I don't know, bro, like you slow people for so much to the point where like melee champs, just like Darius, Aatrox, like they can gap close into the enemy team properly, So it makes, like, this is also like so undodgeable, Yeah. Less armor shred by quite a lot, 7% early on, so that's a lot of less DPS because it's armor and DMR reduction. That's way less damage, okay? So they hate AP Kog'Maw or what? Both players have recent jewels and Emax, AP Oh. There is one fun build, they have to ruin it. There is one fun build, they have to ruin it. Void Ooze. 75 damage, 10 less damage, then later on it's gonna be 25, 5%, yeah. Like, why the fuck do they have to build they have to fuck every build variation, I swear. This is like such a disgusting like pattern Riot Games has. As like a champion, they nerf one build, maybe the items or maybe the champion, specific abilities, so that specific build doesn't work well. Okay, they flex their build into, like in this case, into a mage build. Now, we're gonna fuck that as well. You guys are having too much fun. And the issue with this type of dumb balancing is that, first of all, like, who plays AP Kog'Maw? You barely see it, I swear. Like, who plays it? Not many people. And it also somewhat, like, messes with the flexibility of some champs. And, like, this is just so bad because, like, it's like ADCs, some of them love to go lethality on certain champs. They have some build flexibility. And the only thing you could flex into is just really like a mage build on Kog'Maw. which can be more fun. So it's kind of weird when a champion is not doing super well in the meta, and it's also gonna specifically nerf the on-hit version as well, obviously. So just bad. Like I think the champion is useless now again. Mastery more carry right now in lower ranks because the attack speed will be the same at 6. At 11 he gets 10 more and he gets 20% more. I would say this will be useful in lower ranks mainly after 11. The thing is like after 11 getting 10% is not a lot in higher ranks, so maybe in low elo when he scales is a bit more scary, but I know little tempo scales of attack speed, but this is really not a lot and just a 20% later on, but late game is often not the best. Like level 16, if you're not hard carrying at that point as mastery, it's like this is like very minor amount because like you should be very ahead at 16. Like it's very like it's not enough at 16. That's the problem because like look like usually you're not in a good spot if it's very late game. Mana cost, so she's less likely to build essence, I guess. Also, maybe you still could get it, but like you can poke a little more often even if you're Q maxing, because it's like basically like 50 less, you know. So it's 55 if it's maxed out, and now it's 40 at all ranks, so you get to poke more. And so if you max out MF's Q, before it used to be 55, now it's 40. And basically, like if you use like before 2 Qs when it's maxed out, you spend 30 extra mana, which is almost like a Q right now, so you're gonna have more Qs to work with. Rammus, he will have a bit more spam gank ability, his general clear will be better, maybe his proxy will be a bit better as well on top lane if Bao slaps it. So bit less, but it's mainly early on, but again later on it's hard to buff it, right? So early on less cooldown, to be a bit better at skirmishing, right? To get in and out of combat maybe as well. This is interesting because like there are some skirmishes where your Q will reset way faster to perhaps escape or to continue fighting, so this is definitely a good change. Wow, base stats, lower base stats. That's actually like 6 less armor, what the fuck, but the growth is a little bit bigger by 0.1, I mean. The more is lower, the growth is lower, mana growth. It's just they're lowering it. Mana regen 7 plus 0, that's it's a bit more mana regen, movement speed. What the fuck? Attack speed growth 2%, wind up 0.3, attack speed animation scaling 40%, 100%. Note attack speed will animate res attacks faster. So basically it's an empowered attack that matters a lot for this. Okay. Passive break the mold. Now deals 5% of total armor and more magic damage on hit. Maximum resistance is stolen from, so a bit more early on. Less stun for 0.10, so it's a bit harder to change your CC into tenacity, I would say. Clock up duration is 0.4 what? Slow has been removed though, no stun enemies for 0.8. Wait, what? This is a new thing. Also it stuns, but it knocks off for a lower amount of duration. So tenacity will be interesting, I guess, into dismounted armor and more. A bit more, dismounted attacks with a bit less. Cooldown 11 to 10, knock-up duration 0.4, stun duration 0.6. What? Oh, because like her W has 2 okay. Okay. Mounted movement speed is a little bit higher based on ability rank. 335, 380. So in combat is different, right? Based on ability rank, out of combat is the same-ish, right? Okay, so there is some speed defy, I guess, but it looks like it's like based on ability scaling. Wasn't like that all the time, or was it scaling with levels? I don't get it. This is a bit weird. Movement speed no longer ramps up from 75% effectiveness over 2 seconds. Cooldown is a bit lower. Oh, actually it does scale down. Maybe Emax will be somewhat of a thing. Maybe second, first, who knows. It's a bit more damage into monsters, but this will not make her a good jungler. Initial movement speed towards enemies. A bit better at engaging. A little bit better early on at escaping. But the maximum amount is 25%. So I think she will be a bit better at leashing. Her CC will be different. They are switching it, flipping it from knock up to stun. So tenacity will be somewhat better into her. She will actually like have some ups, a little bit more resistance from her W, but less from base stats. So there are ups and downs, but I mean like they are balancing her around like pro play basically. So they're aiming to to make her a bit more solo queue oriented. I think Rengar will be again a bit more dangerous. He's kind of underwhelming honestly, unless you are very fat. So it does actually like pantry more armor and. The bonus damage scaling is 100% total 80. Rengar's passive does pride bonus 80, so this will be seen as a good thing. So basically it's easier to like kill people in 1 hour, so you get to snowball more easily. Less and more per level. Flame damage is also lower by bonus AP scaling 10% less. I think she's not really great, I would say. Shyvana now is more dog shit. Skylar Pen a little bit strong even after so many nerfs. It are still one of those high damage, thanks to be honest. So I would say he got a reasonable amount of Q nerf. His DPS will be worse by 1% bonus HP scaling. I would say like this definitely gonna affect his DPS, but I think it still could be a viable pick. Smolder. Okay, so Smolder, let's check out. There is quite a lot to read. So the total AD does actually get converted to bonus AD and the flat values are way higher. So maybe right now we will see some Habris, who knows. Maybe some Essence into Bloodthirster or Muramana into Bloodthirster. I do assume high AD items will be perhaps better than Trinity Force now, perhaps. It does restore mana if you kill a unit, which means you don't rely... Maybe you need less so much actually a mana management item. But it's only once per cast, so if you AoE or Q, you don't get lots of mana back. The projectile damage gonna be 25% less damage on tier 2. Stack numbers of projectiles 1 + 1 per 67 stacks. 2 + 1 per 120. So you have more initial projectiles, but you get per 125 stacks. Tier 3 225 stacks burn damage, 0.8 per 100 stacks. 1% AP ratio, 2% per bonus AD. So this scales with 0.4% per stack, so half amount of stack value. But I think the bonus AD value is the same. 2.5. There is no AP ratio. I think they removed the AP ratio, so people don't like flex into some weird AP build. A Chu mana cost is a little bit lower early on, but later on a bit higher. So I do believe maybe there will be less Essence and Mana Mule. Maybe that's what Riot Games tries to incentivize, but I'm not 100% sure yet. It's W explosion damage. I'm a bit tired actually. But I think the damage itself gonna be a little bit lower though on this side. But again, same thing, AD ratio is higher, so scaling wise it will be a bit better later on. Explosion damage will also get a AD ratio buff, but the flat damage nerf, so scaling wise it will be a little better. Combined damage versus champions 70, 115, 205, 250. Minion monster damage is reduced. I don't even know they take actually the extra damage, but okay, they did. So, because they buff, because they somewhat buff his wave clear flat damage. Why? So they nerf the wave clear to some extent as well. Damage per hit. So it will have more AD ratio, the flat damage lower by 10, but basically number of attacks per stack 5 plus 1 per some more stacks. Damage indicator tracks combined damage. Okay. Cooldown is 120, so less cooldown in general, a bit more spammy, or it's a level 16 cooldown, or actually that's interesting, a bit more spammy, but minions take less damage. So his wave clear is definitely like nerfed here and there, especially his solo laning maybe will be a bit different, but I'm looking forward to like limit test out the new Smolder. Tahm Kench base health does get actually like mainly a AP ratio, Rip Noah and Watley, I guess. AP ratio nerf, they hate AP Tahm Kench, or also 50% less AP scaling, specifically nerfing AP Tahm Kench, but it's just kind of random, I guess. Like the hybrid style if you're ahead, I guess, can be a bit oppressive, a bit strong. Maybe it's a low elo nerf probably. I swear, like Teemo is a menace in the jungle right now thanks to the specific jungle damage modes. We will tuning him, bring down level from OP to viable. So to speak is the appropriate amount of toxic. But honestly, the thing is, like, it's kind of good that they nerf him, because I swear every time I get a team or jungle, they just in-team my team. So maybe people will less likely pick him in the jungle. Stretching strikes, basically like 1% less HV scaling. I think this does almost nothing. Collector 50 more gold, so basically it's a little harder to acquire. Basically like 2 extra melee minions, then evade the team's limit, but not a lot, honestly. Like, it's just not a lot to talk about. But again, like, it's hard to nerf Collector because it's a snowball reliant item. Even before Collector got nerfed, but it's snowball reliant. Like, it's hard to imagine. Maybe it's for low elo, I don't know, honestly. But they buff Yunta, so most of the ADCs will just switch. That can't switch. So a little bit in nerf moves for ranged again. So it's only like 10 movement speed. Red steps movement speed. It's 4 for range. So basically this is like kind of a Graves nerf, because Graves was so happy for having this Yomu's. Now it got nerfs. Maybe Queen used it, sometimes Jhin. I mean, it's annoying on ADCs, I ain't gonna lie, honestly, but like some champs need it really badly, like Graves, so I don't know, nerfing this gap close sucks some dick, but when they use it to escape, that's like very annoying, honestly. I mean, it will be less annoying, but like some champs kinda need it, to be honest, so I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, guys. Like maybe. Cool. Now Yunta gets a significant buff, which does matter quite a lot, so 30, 100 less gold, 30 cooldown only, and 6 seconds extra duration. As I showed you guys in my previous video, with most of the ADCs you get to reset it. Now there will be a slight window where you don't reset it, that's where like reducing the cooldown by 10 and adding 2 extra basically like attack speed will help, or basically if you are not at the stage where you have runas or like enough attack speed items to properly reset it, it will reset more easily. So even if you first item it, it could be legit the first item. It will be way more viable, especially in a good all-in. This does also matter quite a lot on Yone and Yasuo. Now, because it's also cheaper, way cheaper than other options, and scaling wise it will feel to be better. And now this does matter quite a lot on Yone and Yasuo, because the more this lasts and the faster it resets, the more Qs you can get off with those champs, you know, with the flurry attack speed duration. And for Yone-C it matters a lot, because for example Yone-C lasts 5 seconds, and Yuntel attack speed only lasts like 4 seconds, right? So it's not even the complete duration of his E as an example, so it will seem to be a good thing. I think many players will look forward to build Yuntail as a first attack speed item if they don't really have better options. Bounty adjustments. Our bounty update shipped fairly safe tuning, since we had changed a good number of rules under the hood. Now they are live and working as expected. We are going to start pulling some of these levels to further adjust how they are playing out in games. We are making champion bounties occur a little faster for winning players, devaluing them much more significantly for losing players and letting gold leads contribute toward larger objectives bounties overall. Objective bounty maximum possible contribution from gold leads have been doubled. What? Maximum possible contributions from gold leads has been doubled for larger gold leads. Smaller gold leads are unaffected. Evaluation now aggressive for the losing team. It will kick in sooner, can be 2-4 times as potent, and is much more likely to fully suppress champion bounties on the losing team, especially with the shift in objective bounties above. Kills and assists contribute towards positive champion bounties 14% faster. Okay. ARAM, CBA, map, terrain. They already removed it, what? Huh? Removed outer turret barrier. Okay. Ascent Emporium. Nerfs. Some arcane skins. This is kinda cool on Jace. I didn't even try this one out yet on Sinch Lancelot. You can earn it for free. It's a prestige version. So this is arcane. This is very cool, by the way. This J skin makes it feel like it's literally a different champion. Let me see. Skins? So I think it's not out yet, the skin. No, it's not out yet, but it looks very cool, honestly. Like, I'm thinking to buy it, but probably not gonna buy it. It looks very good. Now that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next